Hello everyone, welcome back to Lucky15, and in this video I'll be giving you my Lucky15 predictions for tomorrow's horse racing action. Just a couple of things I want to say before we get stuck into that. I just want to apologise for not making a video today. That's because for those that know, I was actually at Doncaster for the St Leger, or the Thursday day of the St Leger meeting, teaming up with the Silk Series for the final of this year's tournament. It was a really good day, first ever visit to Doncaster. I was really impressed. If I had to describe it, it was kind of like Ascot meets Newbury if you're based down in the south, so it kind of had the wow factor of a really nice track, but was probably a little bit less classy than Ascot, but still a great race course to go to. Had a really fun day. Was in the press box with all my idols, Luke Harvey, Matt Chapman, Jason Weaver, Ollie Bell, Ed Chamberlain, Richard Hoyles, Francesco Comani. I saw them all. Met AP McCoy yesterday. I was up close with Frankie Dettori, Ryan Moore. All the A to Z of who's who in horse racing. Absolutely loved it, and it was a really good day. Also, as well, before we get stuck into those selections for tomorrow, I just want to say as well that we now know who the St Leger field is. You might have seen my preview I did a few days ago. That was because obviously I've been busy, so I wanted to do it before I went away up to Doncaster, and I selected Kew Gardens as my selection for the St Leger, but I haven't changed my mind. I'm still going to nail my colours to the mast. I'm on him anti-post at 10-1, which I placed back in after he won at Royal Ascot, and obviously he did quite well since then, finishing third in the Great Voyager, and also as well getting his Group 1 win over in France. But yeah, Latidar, I will admit, has come in for a lot of support. At the time, I didn't think she would run, but obviously they fancy a go. And also as well, we now know all 12 declarations, and at the time we didn't know that. I put up Bruntland in my first three. He's going over to run in France, so obviously you can cross him off. And also as well, I put up Flag of Honour. He's going for the Irish St Leger at the Curragh on Sunday. So if you want a couple of tips, or my top three again, my top three revised would be Kew Gardens. I'm going to go Latidar finishes in second place. And in third, I am going to go Loxley. So, yeah, that's my top three for tomorrow. Anyway, we'll get straight back into the action for the other tips. And we start tomorrow at Doncaster in the 225 with a horse called Oh This Is Us, around about 5-1 bookmakers at the moment. Now, I put this one up when it won last time for the other people I do a bit of work for, called the Punters page, when it won at Chester. And quite easy style that day. Before that, it ran a good race at Salisbury, and also as well I'd run at Goodwood in the Celebration Mile and was only just behind Beat the Bank. There was a blanket finish there that day, but Oh This Is Us is trained by Richard Hannon, and Ryan Moore's booked for the ride. He won over the course and distance before, and he's been running really well, and the form that Salisbury race has worked out not too bad. Andre Farb's Plumatic has subsequently run a good race behind Expert Eye last week in France, finishing in fourth place, so not a bad form line here. And I thought, Oh This Is Us tomorrow had a fair chance in this race and could definitely win this race, and I thought 5-1 was a fair price there. We then go to 240 at Chester, and I've been looking at this horse for a while, and it's unfortunately hasn't run for a little while, and it's a horse called Shaliene. It's 9-2 best odds of bookmakers at the moment, trained by Andrew Bolden, who had a 7-timer today, and he's had 17 winners in the last in 2 weeks, so his yard in flying form. Martin Dwyer's booked for the ride. This horse finished third in a listed race at Hamilton last time behind Austrian School, and also as well Raymond Tusk, who has got some Leger form. Both of those horses have subsequently ran good races since that Hamilton run, so Shaliene has done well. Also as well, Shaliene has run at Chester before, finished fourth in the Chester Vase behind the Oaks winner Forever Together and Magic Wand as well, who went on to win at Royal Ascot, so strong piece of form there. And I thought Shaliene tomorrow, with Andrew Bolden's team in hot form, very good chance of taking the victory in that race tomorrow. Now this one is a little bit probably more of a controversial selection, and it's in the 3 o'clock at Doncaster tomorrow for the Champagne Stakes. I'm actually going to be taking on Too Darn Hot. I generally think he's well overpriced and too short. I think he should probably be more of an even money shot, and I think he will get there tomorrow. I think he might be quite cold in the market. I think there'll be support for Dark Vision, and also as well Phoenix of Spain, who I did put up at the Ebor Festival at York. But there's a horse in here that I think is significantly overpriced, and I'll make my case for it in a minute. The reason I want to take on though Too Darn Hot is because even though yes he's got the sexy pedigree, he's got the top connections and that, and he's won on what was on the eye anyway quite well at Sandown last time out, but I wasn't too impressed with his win. I think he had to really be asked for it, and then when obviously he delivered, he had a lot of speed to pull away from the others. But if we actually look at that race, they were all really laboured. Arthur Kitt, who finished in second, was being asked for an effort a long way home. And I think there could just be something tomorrow that comes out of the pack. And I quite like Bye Bye Hong Kong. And yeah, it's 25 to 1, and I think this one might attract a bit of support tomorrow. Might go something like 12 to 1, owned by the King Power Group, trained by Andrew Balding, who we just mentioned about. David Probert booked for the ride, and this horse won very comfortably last time, very easily, in very impressive style at Windsor, beating a horse of Jeremy Nasidas called Lady Cosette, who's been backed into favouritism a couple of times, and also as well ran fairly well in nursery handicap at Doncaster yesterday. And I thought really, even though yes, Too Darn Hot probably will go and bolt up, Frankie's really going to have to be on the game tomorrow, and I just think this is going to be the hardest race Too Darn Hot has had yet, and will confirm whether or not this horse can deliver going on next year. Because you've got the like of Dark Vision that won very well at Glorious Goodwood. Phoenix of Spain was a very impressive winner at the Ebor. And Bye Bye Hong Kong has been running fairly well. And also as well, you've got a couple of Aidan O'Brien runners in there. So I think this race is a little bit more competitive than it first suggests, and I think this is probably the 2-year-old race of the season so far, and we'll really start to know what's going to happen going into next year with the Guineas, Derbies, feelings like that for next year if you want to have a dabble anti-post. So Bye Bye Hong Kong it is for me, 25 to 1. It could be a good each way bet. But yeah, that's going to be my bold selection there. I'm not sticking with the favourite. That's who I'm going to go for. We then go to the Irish Champions weekend for our final selection in the 455 at Leopardstown with a horse called Giuseppe Garibaldi. This horse has been probably a push off the edge of a cliff horse, but I've been on him a few times each way, and he always gets me the each way profit. Tomorrow I'm backing him to win outright. I think he's fairly overpriced at 4 to 1. I would be probably with him actually over Rostroporovic. Now this horse has been running fairly consistently. He makes a frame like I just said. He's trained by Aidan O'Brien. Emmett McNamara is booked for the ride. Now this horse actually did have an entry for the English St. Ledger, and it's interesting that they've decided to go this route, probably because they didn't want to take up the whole field, to be honest with you. But I think Giuseppe Garibaldi's got a good chance in this race tomorrow. Like I said, he's been fairly consistent. And actually, I think his rival Rostroporovic had quite a hard race at Ascot last time out and was very well beaten in the King George. So for me, Giuseppe Garibaldi is at 4 to 1. I think maybe he could get his head back in front and get back to winning ways. So that's going to be the selection there. And you often find as well, a lot of these Champions Days, some of the other unfancied horses come in and win, and I could definitely see that being an example there. So they're the tips for tomorrow's horse racing action. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button to my YouTube channel. Also as well, you can follow me on Twitter. My handle is at the Punters page. Also as well, you can check out my work that I do, the Punters page. Just type them in on YouTube. Just literally type in the Punters page. I've seen a few people ask where it is. Just type it in and you'll find it. It's really simple. Or if not, just follow me on Twitter and you'll find the links. I retweet the links to my work there. So, yeah, go and follow me on Twitter if you haven't done so, at Lucky15. Also, as well, I won't be doing a video, unfortunately, for a Sunday, even though there's some really good racing, obviously, at the car. That's because tomorrow I've got a family wedding. It's my cousin's wedding up in London, so I'm going to be up there, and I'm probably going to be taking my eye off the racing slightly, because obviously I've got to be on my best behaviour, but might have a quick look when it's obviously the old St. Ledger and a couple of other selections if I can help it. So yeah, so I'll be busy unfortunately on Saturday night. I might put a tweet out or something and just pin it to my profile, and then you can just go and check what the selection is if you fancy 1 or 2 selections. So yeah, that's all I've got to say about what will happen on Sunday. And also as well, I finally got all my editing software up and running now. and hopefully on Monday's video, so the next video you'll see, it'll probably be Tuesday actually. I won't be back until Monday here, so it'll be Tuesday's video. You will hopefully see a new production quality to these videos. We'll still be filming on the iPhone, but there'll be an intro and an outro, maybe some jazzy music, things like that, just to make it a little bit more interesting. So yep, that's all I got to say. Enough of me waffling on. Hopefully we can have a couple of winners tomorrow. Please gamble responsibly, and we'll be seeing you soon.